Welcome to the Conigliaro Insight Podcast, a podcast where we give opinion and insight on all topics galore. I'm Keegan, and welcome to episode number 3 of season 1, which is all about motivation and inspiration. So, last episode, I had my good friend Marius Eriksson on the podcast, and we went into detail about negativity on social media. Now, don't worry, Marius did not disappear. I did not kick him out of the podcast. Well, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't kick him out of the podcast, but today we're going to branch out. I've got a new guest on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of my good friends since high school, Callum Monteith. Callum, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, of course. I really enjoy coming on your podcast and being able to talk with you about this.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you listening into other episodes as well. I know you're a really, really big fan of the podcast, so I appreciate you listening in for sure.
Yes. How couldn't I be a fan?
Well, hey, I appreciate you being on the podcast today for sure. So, before we get into today's episode, I hope everyone's doing well out there. Make sure to take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Callum loves you guys as well. And if you're feeling a bit down, I hope this podcast really cheers you up. So, let's get down to business, shall we? Today's topic at hand is going to be all about college versus high school, or should I say high school versus college. So I go to a community college and Callum goes to a 4-year university. And Callum, you're in like extracurriculars, Greek life, all that good stuff like outside of class, right?
Yeah, I'm in a lot of stuff outside of class. I'm in a few clubs. I'm in Greek life as a new member right now.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a few other things. I have to work outside of class. So yeah, I've got quite a lot to juggle.
Are you in any like intramural leagues?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm in 3 intramural leagues. I play intramural flag football, intramural soccer, and intramural kickball.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a rigorous schedule you got there, eh?
Yeah. I had 2 games actually this afternoon.
Nice.
That was nice.
Yeah. So, Callum and I have been friends since high school, and we had classes freshman and sophomore year together, and then we kind of parted ways a little bit. He took some classes with the baccalaureate program with my high school, and I just went down the regular route of taking honors and some AP classes and all that. But we stayed good friends. And he goes, like I said, he goes to a 4-year. I go to a community college, and obviously there's a huge difference between the two. Would you agree?
Yeah, there's quite a big difference, honestly, between the two.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest is? What would you say the biggest difference is?
I feel like, honestly, class size is one of the biggest, but also maybe like the way that you view classes in a way, because classes like viewed here is probably a bit different than like at a community college, because the idea of a community college is you're like, a lot of people get associate's degrees.
Yep.
And a lot of people want to move on to like do 2 years of college afterwards.
Right.
So in community college, it's more so a focus on doing what you need to do to get to the next level. While in like a 4-year college, it's just like trying to maintain the workload and keep on pushing through. Because I'm going to be honest. I would say that community college classes are like slightly easier because you have more of a variety with them.
Right.
You can take like a lot of them online and everything like that.
Oh yeah, you could.
Like in-person classes. Yeah, you can take like in-person classes online and take tests online and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna say real quick as well, like it's especially happened since like even when we were in high school, we all got moved online in March of 2020, I think is when it was, for like when COVID shut everything down. Either way, ever since then, it's all like there's been just so many online classes like for community. Like I know, like for me, there's a shit ton of community classes that are online. You can take electives online and all that stuff. But I will say that I believe that I would say the best thing about community college, actually no, sorry, not just community college, but just college in general, if I'm speaking on that term, is the freedom that you have. For sure. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I'd say that freedom is like a really big part of college because you're really able to like do what you want to do and be able to just hang out, chill more so.
Yep.
And if you want to go out and have a fun night, like you can do that in college. You don't need to
Sure,
ask
yeah.
people for permission.
Right.
You can,
And
you can do it like anything.
yeah, and I would say also that like in high school, like you could choose quote unquote your classes, but it wasn't where you could choose like when and who it was. Like in college, that you can like you can choose what professor, what time, what days, blah blah blah. You know, you can choose anything. In high school, what we had, it was it was like the counselors came in to the classroom, right? You remember that? And they had the sheet of all the classes. I know you're shaking your head right now about all that shit. So they had the sheet of classes, and you could take or you could like choose, but you couldn't. But whatever class you had, it was like a random assignment when it came to the teachers. Like whatever teacher you had, that's who you had. Like you couldn't kind of like wiggle around it.
Yeah, exactly. High school, it was just God annoying sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because you wouldn't even like there would be a class that looks interesting, but they might not have had it last year
Mm-hmm.
or last semester, so you don't know what it's going to be like, and they don't have a teacher for it,
Right.
and teachers will get like randomly assigned to like classes and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
after people pick their schedules,
Right. Yeah.
so you get screwed over a lot of the time, like
Absolutely, you do. I
with
agree.
what teachers you get.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, our high school was pretty good for public school. Like,
I
I can't
agree.
lie.
Oh yeah, it
We had a pretty
definitely
good
was.
public school, and like there were a lot of good teachers there,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of good students as well, like good people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a fair amount of bad teachers too, all at the
Oh
same
my
time.
gosh,
Like,
of course there is. Not just our high school, any high school.
oh yeah, I feel like there's at least one or two every single year of high school that I just hated so much.
Oh yeah.
Like it was,
And I would
they just get on your nerves.
yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead. What were you gonna finish off with?
I was gonna say they just get on your nerves and really, I don't know, just mind you in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry guys to the language out there, but guess what? This is my podcast. I'm gonna do what the hell I want. Anyways, I would say that there's a huge difference between college and high school, because in high school you kind of just you were with friends, like you met people on like day one of freshman year, right? And you're basically with those same friends all throughout high school, and then once you hit senior year and you get like college application season, you know, acceptances, like college tours and all that, all of a sudden everyone's like dispersed. Like one person may go to some college, it's like in the western part of the state, one really close friend might go to the eastern part of the state, like, and you kind of separate there. And I think that like college, there's so many opportunities to make new friends. But I know that sounds really cliche, I'm sorry guys, but there really is opportunities to make new friends. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends in college, like, I met him on a random day, like first week.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I met him. I think I moved in on the Friday
Yeah.
before classes. I met him on the Sunday. We were playing cards at the guy that I know from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like a few of us from high school at my college decided to go and just play cards in his room.
Right.
Well, his lounge
Mm-hmm.
on like the 12th floor. So
Nice.
it's
I love how specific you are there.
up like in the middle of nowhere, almost
Right.
like that. Like you don't have people going up to the 12th floor for no reason.
Right, of course.
And then, just random people walked in and vibe with them and click.
Yeah.
Like you meet people in the weirdest places sometimes.
Right, yeah. Like,
Like,
and I just feel like it's also all about like I think social skills definitely increase when it comes to college.
oh yeah, because even social skills, you don't need to like improve your social skills.
Not
You just
really,
need
yeah.
to decide to go out there and do something.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
need to try and make a connection, because if you don't make a connection, you're screwed. Like,
Right, exactly.
like I've met so many people, and I didn't meet as many last semester as I have this semester.
Mhm.
Like this semester, I have met so many people, and I just, you meet so many people to a point where you can't remember names.
Right,
You just
yeah.
remember faces. You're just like, I know you. Like, I know that girl.
Where the hell do I know you from? Are you in my marketing class? Like, something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll have had a conversation with these people.
Right.
But I can't remember what their names are.
Yeah, you just can't picture it.
But it's like, if I go up to them, I can go and talk to them and just, have a good conversation.
It's kind of like, it's just meeting strangers, basically, and then all of a sudden, you're really close with them, just like that, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I decided to join Greek life this semester, and I've met so many people.
Yeah,
and these people that I've met have introduced me to so many more people. It's like, once you meet one or two people, it'll just slowly branch out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're meeting friends of friends and everything like that. Like, you're going to be meeting people that you wouldn't really expect to meet.
I would kind of say it's like the old thing in the family. It's like, okay, here's your grandpa, and then here's your 50th generation grandpa. You're like, what in the hell?
Yeah,
it's like how did I meet all of these people? Like, it's kind of like an eye opener. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's so crazy. You just meet people that you wouldn't expect to meet. Like, you meet people from all walks of life as well. It's like, I'm good friends with a ton of different people on a wide spectrum. From super country all the way to super city.
Right. The big gap right there. I even see it at community college for damn sure. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I see country. Sorry guys, middle of nowhere to New York City type of shit for sure.
Yeah, exactly. One of the guys that is in that I know through Greek life. He's a out of state student from New York. So he's I don't know if people know where Iona is, but he went to an Iona prep school.
Do your research, kids.
Yeah, exactly. He's from New York and everything like that, and he's here. You just meet so many different people, and it's just crazy. College just really opens up your experiences and allows you to do more and see more, and really know more in general. Yeah,
because what we've just said, you meet people from all over. New York, California. Hell, you can meet people from Indonesia or something like that. Come here, just wherever it is. It's so diverse for sure. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, I know some kids from Singapore and India and stuff like that. Yeah. One of the girls that I was friends with last semester in one of my classes, she was from I believe it was Indonesia actually.
That's really
or the Philippines.
That's really cool though.
People just come from the craziest places of the world.
Absolutely.
And you just get to meet people and talk to people with different walks of life.
Absolutely, yeah. So now I'm going to get into, so you just mentioned that you're in Greek life, extracurriculars, all that stuff. So what would you say, with how difficult of a schedule that you have, what would you say is the motivating factor into keeping that set schedule while also having the free time for outside of class time, campus, football tailgates or any big event, basically? What would you say is what keeps you on track?
Well, that's a tough one because I honestly feel there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that keep you on track.
Right, yeah.
It's not just one thing. It's you got to realize that you've decided that you want to do this. You've decided that you want to do all these extra things along with your classes. You have to find a way to really juggle them and manage it.
Right.
Because you have to have an open mind. You have to really persevere with this because if you don't, you'll easily fail. You'll let the balls drop and you'll stop juggling. And so you just have to keep
That's a good one. I like that.
You keep on trying to keep the balls in the air. You have to try and make it work.
Right.
Because if you don't try, it's just going to fail no matter what. Sometimes I want to do stuff throughout the day. I'll take 4 hours of sleep if I can go and have fun throughout the day, make it to my classes, be able to do the stuff that I want to do and be able to study all at the same time,
Right.
you just got to learn to make sacrifices. You got to be able to sacrifice some things
Hmm.
to, I guess it's like to grow yourself personally. Like you
That's
have to be
good.
able
Yeah, I
to
like that a lot.
really do stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be able to like sacrifice a few hours of your time.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, this isn't super related to like keeping a set schedule, but
Right.
like outside of class, like I'll have upperclassmen ask me, "Hey, do you want to come around and just hang out and chill?"
Hmm.
And it's just like, why not?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
How can you not? Right.
yeah, exactly. Like they're not gonna do stuff to me. They're not gonna like mess with me. They're gonna like be there for me and help me and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I quickly get my schoolwork done, and then I head over, and it's just a vibe. Like
Hmm.
just being able to do everything and be able to really like persevere and keep your like schedule set and just make sacrifices to keep that schedule.
Yeah, because the people that like you would say, like the people that you meet, or like the people that you just go around and it's like they're asking like, hey, do you want to hang out? It's like it's not where they're just gonna like mess around just for the hell of it. Like they're gonna be there like with you. They'll do work, they'll be on the stepping stones of the success path.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hang out with people that are like in their last semester of college,
Hmm.
and like this guy that I know, he's going to work in Bank of America in Charlotte.
That's
Like
sick.
as
That
soon
is sick.
as soon as the spring semester ends, he's going to the Bank of America in Charlotte, and he's like got an apartment there already.
Hmm.
He's ready to move whenever needed.
Right.
So he's just waiting to
Yeah,
graduate.
he's
Like
just
you get
he's just waiting on the tarmac to just go off, right?
yeah, and it's like you get to meet so many people.
Hmm.
It's like they'll come back to college, and you'll be able to like after they graduate, they'll come back to college, and you'll be able to talk to them
Right.
and really be able to experience like you'll understand what life is at college
Hmm.
and be able to view the outside world at the same time. But you'll be able to have people come back and really tell you what the outside world is like.
Yeah.
Because in college, you're sort of just bubbled off at this point.
Hmm.
Like you're in your own bubble. You'll have times where you like leave the bubble and go and do stuff like going downtown or something like that, like just
Right.
hanging out off campus. You'll leave the bubble, but you get to experience so much stuff,
Yeah.
and it just really prepares you at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna tie back now with kind of like going on the class, like back to like the in school portion. Like we've talked about like the outside portion. Like it's amazing. Like you got to make time for it. Obviously, you got to be around the right people. But that's what I was also gonna talk about is being around the right people when it comes to classes, and especially when you go down the line. I think you've always got to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Like, for example, your major. Like, I want to go into marketing after college. What do you want to do for after college?
Like for me, after like, are you talking about yourself or me?
For you, what would you say? If
Well, hopefully for me, unless I somehow change my plan, which definitely could happen.
right, yeah,
I want to go.
it definitely happens. Like you could go undecided for a year, two, something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so what's yours?
I really want to be able to like become a doctor and stuff like that, but I'd really be open to anything so long as I'm able to really help people. You just
Mhm.
want to. It's like you'll find your passion. You just have to understand why you're finding your passion and why you're doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like you can't look at a job and be just like, oh yeah, I really want to do that, and just look at the money side. Or
Right.
look at
I
like
feel like, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like so many people just look at just the money without actually the requirements and the actual like qualifications and just the job title. Sorry, not the job title, the description of the job. They don't look
Yeah,
at those three things, and they look at the money.
exactly.
That's where failure happens. Now, obviously you want to fail in life before succeeding, but when you just jump straight into the pond without dipping your foot in the water, that's when it becomes trouble. What would you say?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that like just looking at the monetary value of a job, like yeah, that makes sense what you're saying,
Mhm.
where it's like you're just gonna fail because you're not doing what you want to do. But it's like you have to really be able to find your passion,
That too,
and
absolutely, yeah.
you're not gonna find your passion by chasing money. Like,
No, you're not.
yeah, money might be able to promote
Sure.
what you want to do and promote your passion, but do you really want to be working such long hours and then be able to have a passion for like an hour a day or something like that?
You
Like,
gotta make
you're
time. You
gonna
gotta make time for outside of work.
exactly you gotta realize that at some point work is gonna be your life,
It
and
is.
you're gonna be doing a job 8 to 12 hours a day. Like, depending on your job, you're gonna be working long hours. You're
Yeah.
gonna be working a third of your day to half of your day. You have to realize that at the end of the day, you have to do what makes you happy
Hmm.
and what you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about your job, you're gonna fizzle out of your job in like 10 years
Yeah.
or less.
You
Like
basically
you'll,
have like what you had just said. Like if you divide it up into three, you've got job, some type of like downtime, like aka like home from work, sleep, do it again, rest of your life.
exactly, and that's just that. Like, some people will look at that and be just like, "Oh yeah, I like that. I like the set schedule."
And hey,
But
whatever people want to think, hey, do whatever the hell you want. But
yeah,
we're saying like you got to think about why you're doing it and what's gonna come at you instead of just jumping right at the what it is.
yeah, exactly. You got to be able to. You got to do your research. You got to understand everything before you
If you
jump.
don't do your
Like,
research, what the hell are you doing, honestly?
you gotta stick a toe in the water before you jump in.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you gotta test the water before you dive head first in. You gotta make
Otherwise,
sure
you'll
that
just belly flop right in.
yeah, exactly. Like, you gotta make sure that it's not like a shallow pool and you can't tell it's
Right.
shallow.
It's like, oh, look at this job. Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be diving head first in like an Olympic swimmer into a warm
Right, totally.
like you're gonna hit your head and you're gonna make one of the biggest mistakes of your life.
Not only hit it, but you'll
Honestly,
probably split your brain open.
yeah, but honestly, some people need to make mistakes to grow. Like, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like, you look at a lot of people, and if you look at community college isn't just for people wanting to go to a 4-year college at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's for people that, like, you have people that are older. You have, like, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s going to community
Oh,
college.
dude, yeah.
And
I've got so many like older people than me in my classes. For sure.
yeah, it's like you have so many people coming back because they'll have gotten a degree in something, but they realize later on in life, I don't really want to do this.
Right.
I want to do something else. So what they go and do is they get basically like an associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
With the associate's degree, they just focus on core classes. Like, if you want to go into like finance, you're literally just taking finance classes because you already have your GEPs for getting that finance major.
Yep.
You just need to get those core classes done, and then you can go into it.
Yeah,
And you can get a
exactly.
bachelor's. Like, it's as simple as that.
Should be, but some people just don't look at it that way. So you gotta think about that way. So honestly, I think if we can tie anything together, it's you gotta make sure that you're thinking about why you're doing what you want to do in life and not the what part. Obviously, you want to say the what part, but the why part is, I would honestly say at least a 9 out of 10 important, like 90% important, and then the what is like you kind of have the background, but then it's like, okay, let me do the why research, and then I'll see what do I want to actually move forward with what I'm looking at, basically. So that's where I think it comes into play. And I think also you've got to look at, like, when it comes to college, you've always got to look at not scheduling classes, like basically like not throwing the eggs in a basket. Like basically like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
take the eggs as classes, you don't want to make all the eggs just classes. You got to make eggs for like you sure like most of the eggs should be classes because that's your priority, but at the end of the day, you need to make it so that you have time in your schedule for free time to do stuff with friends, to go downtown, to go to sporting events. You got to make time for that. And honestly, do not be afraid to ask for help, for sure. And honestly, sounds cliche, stay motivated. honestly, I absolutely think that that's what you have to do at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like tying back to what you're saying about like being able to reach out for help and everything like that, like there's so many people that are older than you at college that are more than willing to talk to you and
Yeah.
help guide you through stuff. Like I can go like to my Greek like organization and I can go and talk with basically anyone there.
Yeah.
Like people will just be at the house and I can go and have a life discussion with people.
Right. Like people in college are so open to, like, they're just very open instead of like in high school. Like, sorry guys, I'm gonna diss you guys for a second, but some people in high school are very private when it comes to talking about stuff like that, for sure. Like college, you can absolutely talk with anyone all day, like 24 hours a day, about anything that you want in your life, basically. So yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's that simple. Just stay motivated, ask for help, and make time for outside of college, and just look at why you want to do what you do, why you want to do what you want to do, basically, if that makes sense. Sounds like a tongue twister anyways, but you guys get what I mean. You always got to look at why before what, basically. That's as simple as that. So Callum, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your insight on high school and college, and again, thank you very much for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed coming on and being able to talk to you.
Yeah.
So this is really nice.
Yeah,
and I'm happy that other people are going to be able to hear what we're saying too.
Yeah, very fun conversation for sure. And if you like this episode, rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can give a 1-star to 5-star. Preferably, I prefer the 5-star, but do whatever you guys want to do. And just make sure you can share with your friends, share with your family, share it with anyone that you can. And you can also follow the podcast on Instagram at Conigliaro Insight Podcast. Tune in every single Sunday for new episodes. And you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and Spotify. And you can watch the YouTube videos on the channel. So you can watch the videos right here on YouTube as well. And until the next time on the Conigliaro Insight Podcast, just make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves. Do the things that you love in life. I love you guys. Callum loves you guys. And have an amazing day, everyone. Cheers.